Hey all you viewers to be named later, how we doing today? I know, first of all, forgive me, this light is flickering. Nothing I can do about it right now. But I've been putting this one off for a very, very long time. Today I am going to show you how to make the simplest, easiest Cyser with stuff you can find in your local grocery store. Basically, a Cyser is Mead with apple juice. Now, before we get into the what's Mead, what's this, where's there, I want you to take a look right up top. You're going to see a card for A Brief History of Mead, which my incredible friend Barbadoe Joe made for this channel. Check that out. It's going to give you a great background on a lot of stuff. Now, to do this project, you're going to need a couple simple items, okay? You really, really are. First, you're going to need a gallon of basically apple juice. I mean, you could call it cider if you want to, because it's dark and cloudy. But you really, truly, where is it? Ingredients. You need to check that ingredients. See, it's just pure apple juice. There's no preservatives. There's no anything in there that's going to interfere with the little yeasties. That is very, very important. You're going to need about 2 pounds of honey. And I'll be honest, the one that I've found that works best with my Cysers is basically the Walmart just raw honey. Works great, doesn't have a bad aftertaste, all that other wonderful little crap. You're going to need yeast. Now, you can use like Fleischmann's bread yeast. I don't recommend it because it gives inaccurate constant results. Sometimes it's a little higher on the ABV. Sometimes it's a little lower. Sometimes you have really explosive fermentation. The one that I'm using today is just Red Star. What is that? Premier Classique. Why? 2 reasons. Number 1, I got a bunch of it. And number 2, my incredible friend Sober Chef Eric highly recommends this stuff. So, there we go. We're going to use it. Trust me, get a funnel. It's going to make your life a lot easier with pouring. It really, truly is. So get you a funnel. You're going to need an airlock. Seriously, they're like $2 on Amazon, okay? I know I've seen some other channels out there which suggest putting a balloon over the top. Don't do that. Because when the CO2 is escaping, it's going to collect inside that balloon. It's going to liquefy and go right back into your mead. And it could have potentially really, really bad results. Basically, you just fill this little thing up with, water or a neutral spirit right to there. And, when the CO2 is escaping, you will see that inner piece going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. It also helps keeps bugs and all that other interesting little crap that you don't want in your alcohol out. One thing you may need, depending on, how should we say, the fermentation, is a blow-off tube. This is just simply an airlock that I put a tube to. Really simple. If you're having an explosive, and we'll see if it happens in this one, you're going to want a way to keep it sealed and not have it blowing up everywhere. And if that happens, I'll show you how to use that. It's not a necessary item. The biggest item you're going to need is a carboy. Alright, it's just a glass 1-gallon container. And yes, I put a little thermometer on the side so I can kind of monitor temperature. And you're going to need what's called the bung. The airlock goes in there, but when we're going to mix it, this is going to become pretty important. I'm going to try to leave links for all the important stuff right down below. Okay, so I'm going to hit pause on this. We're going to go out to my wonderful little kitchen, and we're going to get stuff going. So hold on. Okay, so here we are in the kitchen. Now, this is what I do. You will spend all day trying to pour that honey into your carboy because it's slow, it's going to take a while. I drop it in a warm water bath for about 10 minutes. Now, while that's soaking, I get the next steps going. So let's see if I can get this angled a little better. Sorry, this is my first time trying to do this, so yeah. Alright, as you see, I've got the carboy over there with the funnel in there. This is why it's kind of important for that funnel. We've got to get 2 of these into there in a moment. But for now, we're just going to start with this. Oh, and the other part I do is I get my yeast ready. Now, some people will pour it right into the carboy while you have your your must going. That's basically your big mix. What I like to do, and it's worked well for me so far, I mean, you experiment with your stuff and do what works best for you, of course, is I get a separate cup. Oops. I get a separate cup. Pour some of the juice in there. I mean, not a lot, all right? Get my little yeasty packet. The only problem I have with Red Star is there's really not like a little rip tab on there anywhere, so you got to get a pair of scissors. Oh, and before I even forget, sanitize everything. I sanitized everything in Star San before I even started doing this video. Sanitization is really, really critical. You don't want, bad alcohol. And I just dump it in. I let the yeast rehydrate before I get it in there. Alright, got any more in here? And yes, I want as many of them as I can get my hands on. Sorry. So, just do that. Now, I will set this aside so it can rehydrate while the honey is doing its thing. I should say, melting down. The other part that I really like to do, I know some people pour the honey in right away first into your carboy. I don't like doing that because it kind of sticks and has some problems on the bottom. So I will pour in a good bit of the juice. Now, I'm not too worried about, all those bubbles on the bottom. That's really, really important. That's oxygen getting in there. And in the early stages, you want as much oxygen in there as possible because it's really going to help speed that process along. And like I said, sorry, I got a tripod up out here. This is my first time trying to shoot one of these. So we'll get through this together. All right, we're going to come back in about 10 minutes because that's usually how long I let the honey and the yeast sit for. Okay, so it's been that 10 minutes. Sorry for, that little pause and whatnot. So we're going to get our honey out of the water bath. Now, what I found with those little itty-bitty pull tabs, they sometimes really don't work that well, so I just usually get me a little paring knife. So I can get in there and get at that really good honey. And then this is going to go in there, and that's where a huge bit of this funnel really comes into play. Hopefully you can see that getting in there. Now, gotta be careful. It's starting to fill up pretty quick. This is seriously the longest part of making your Cyser. Okay. Now, you can see I pretty much got most of it out of there. Now, generally, I would run it under hot water and, shake it around and get the rest of that honey out. But because this is a Cyser and there's no really water in there except from the juice, I'm going to add some of the apple juice into here and shake her up. So, get a good grip, dummy. Then I'm just going to shake the crap out of it. See, it's pretty much getting up all that honey in there. And that just goes right in. So see, we got a lot more of it. Now I know you're seeing that on the bottom, which I think is kind of cool. The separation between the juice and the honey. But we're going to fix that in a moment, okay? add the rest of that first half gallon. Okay. Now, now comes the fun part. All right. I only try to put in a half gallon at a time because we have to introduce oxygen into this. So this is where your little bung comes into play. You put it on the top, and basically we are going to shake the crap out of this. So I'm going to put you on pause, and we'll be right back when this part's done. Okay, we shook the crap out of that guy. As you can see, that's all oxygen, the foam and everything. And you see how the color, the coloration has changed on it? That's a really, really good thing. So, what I usually like to do now is we remove that bung, place our funnel back in, and add more juice. Now, one of the things you got to remember is when this thing ferments, it's going to have to go up somewhere, okay? Here, hold on, let me pull that down a little. It's going to have to go up somewhere. So you got to be careful how much you add. I mean, you can get greedy, but when it starts to actively ferment, you're going to have a lot of loss. So what I usually like to do is try to fill to about somewhere up through here. That's usually a little bit over a gallon. Where it says a gallon, a little bit over, and you're pretty much good to go. But you got to remember, you still got to leave a little bit of room for your yeast. So, hold on. I mean, see the foam and everything, how it's coming back up? That's okay. Okay, what I do is basically pick it back up, shake the crap out of it again, because you've just added more and you want it properly mixed. So hold on. Alright, there we are. We got it mixed back in. We're going to put the funnel back in because now we got to add the little yeasties. Now granted, with the usual stuff that I do with the warm water, it will bloom up like you wouldn't believe, but this is just basically apple cider. So we have a little bit of fun and pour them right in. Hey, that actually went in there pretty good. Not that much left over on the inside. Okay. What I do now is, well, let's get you removed. And we're not gonna mix it up. What I like to do is just give it a swirl. That way, I mean, I think you can see, like, from right here to about right here how it has a little bit of temperature, not temperature, but color change. That's because the yeasties are in there. Now you can see, I think I went up a little bit too high, but that's okay. We're going to see how this thing goes. Now, got to get our airlock ready, because that's really, really crucial. That's going to keep all the bad stuff out and the good stuff in. I'm just going to use water today. See, we got it right to that fill point. Put the cap on. And into that hole it goes. Alright, now, fermentation doesn't happen right away. Alright, it's going to take a little bit. It could take an hour, it could take 20 minutes. It could take all day. Alright, so what I'm going to do is hit pause on this, and we're going to come back and check it once it starts to ferment. Alright, so we're checking back in on it. It's been about a half hour or so. I can see some bubbles going up through here. I had to remove some of the water out of the airlock. I went past the fill line, but still. I'm going to come back in just a little bit. Hopefully you can see that thing moving up and down so you can see exactly what it's supposed to do. But it is Starting. Okay, so here we are. It's been basically 2 hours after we first started everything. Take a look right up here. Oops, sorry. It's kind of raised up and kind of on an angle. That means the CO2 is getting out of there. Basically, when the yeast eat the sugar, their job is to crap out alcohol. All that process produces CO2, which forces the oxygen out, up through there, and that should move, but it's not a rapid at this point. And I don't know if you can see it too well, but right down here, we're right about 72 degrees, which is kind of okay. But there we go. The simplest, easiest way I can show you how to make a Cyser. I will be back with this one in about a month, or any other updates that I have to do. Like, God forbid, it starts getting massively active and has an explosive fermentation. That's never really fun. But I'm going to show you the whole process from, like I said, from here to when we move it into its conditioning phase, and then from the conditioning phase into bottling. So basically, here's part one of how to make a Cyser. So I hope you like what you saw. If you guys did, please hit that big old thumbs up. Matter of fact, if I made you laugh, made you cry, made you cringe, made you do anything, hit that big old thumbs up. It's only going to help trigger that algorithm, and you know that's really, really important for the channel. So, you're going to see the little YouTube-y things on the side like you usually do. You guys know what to do with those. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you're having a great day, a safe day, and I'll see all of you in our next video.